2024 agenda meeting to order. I am present. Councilmember Brennan, Councilmember De La Rada, Councilmember McPartland, Councilmember Moskowitz, Town Attorney Finnan, Deputy Supervisor Drescher. We also have Eric Amberger, Seth Goldstein, Elizabeth Greenwood, Janet Wynn, Chief Koshin, Michelle Martinelli, Diane Percy, Lori Peretti, Laura Robertson, Ray Smith, Matt Yetto, our Gazette reporter Ted Remsnyder, as well as a few residents are present. And before moving on, I'd like to respectfully acknowledge that Niskayuna is on the traditional lands of the Kanikihaka and the Mahikanaak peoples, past and present, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the peoples who have stewarded this land throughout generations. All right, we'll start with the Public Works Committee, Water, Sewer, and Engineering.
Okay, the first item is a resolution to authorize a shed easement agreement for 203 Campbell Court. It's a drainage easement. Ray Smith's already been out there to look at it, and we have no issues. It's just a standard agreement. Next item is a resolution to award contracts for the purchase of chemicals to be used at the water plant and the sewer plant. We do this annually. The next one is a resolution to purchase 3 utility trucks off of the Onondaga County bid. The cost of the total for the 3 trucks would not exceed $231,000, and it was a budgeted purchase. 4 is a resolution to authorize the purchase of a pump for the Fillmore Sewer Pump Station at a cost not to exceed $13,000. The next one is a tentative resolution to appoint maintenance workers in the Water and Sewer Department. We're currently interviewing applicants. We have 4 open positions, had over 40 applications, so we're still working through all the people. If we have good names prior to the meeting, I'll send them for a resolution. If not, we'll have to continuing the process into next month. 6 is a resolution to approve the 2023 third quarter corporate utility warrant, or actually it's a reconciliation. I've done all the checking of the numbers and everything looks good. Next one is a resolution to authorize payment for utility billing software support contracts. It's the renewal for the Flexibill. It's the software that we use to collect all the water and water readings and send out bills for the water and sewer. That's at a cost of $10,872. The next one is a resolution to authorize a new contract to accept organic waste from Blue Diamond Septic. It's a local septic hauler. It would be yet an additional company that we can bring in our fats, oil, and greases into our wastewater plant as part of our organic waste program. The next one is a resolution to authorize the purchase of a pickup truck for the wastewater plant from the St. Onondaga County bid, and that's not to exceed $63,000. And that was also budgeted in this year. And there were 2 resolutions that I'd like to add from the floor. One is it did go through my committee, but it just wasn't on the agenda. It's to appoint a wastewater treatment plant operator. Bill Olson is currently a trainee at the plant. He's obtained his New York State DEC wastewater plant operator license. So we'd like to promote him from trainee to operator. That's an open position at the facility. And the last one is a resolution. I sent an email around to the board a few days ago. Last week we had a water main break on Knott Street, sort of in the area of the co-op. It caused quite a bit of damage to the pavement in front of the area. And in order to open the road back to traffic, the county required us to do a concrete patch rather than just do temporary pavement. So I had to contract with a local contractor to come in and do the work to repair the road. That was at a cost of $16,000. We did receive multiple quotes, and I did work with this one company to get the price down as low as we could. I did get the emergency approval already, but I would like to go ahead and do the actual resolution so that we can pay the bill when it does come. And this will require additional work in the spring to repave a portion of that road. I don't know the extent of that work yet. I'll have to wait and see. Let the conditions improve with the season, and we'll work to try to minimize how much we have to replace. But there will be an additional cost on a separate contract.
Can you just forward me the email?
Hmm?
Can you forward me that email?
Sure.
Thank you.
And that's all I have. Any questions?
Do you know the approximate value of the new organic waste contract?
It's an open contract as far as they have a set amount per gallon that they pay us. So it's all dependent on how much they bring in, and that could vary. We just want to set up the framework so that we can have that flexibility.
Thank you.
Matt, I don't know if you saw it, but the co-op did a Facebook post praising your team for all their efforts
I
and
did, and I wanted-
professional ability. So
Well,
just wanted to make sure you saw that.
I did, and that was very nice of them to do that. And thank you for pointing that out. So, thank you. Anything else? All right, thanks.
Hello. Number 10 is a ceremonial resolution recognizing heroic actions by a citizen. On October 14th, there was an art workshop at the Senior Center. During the lunch break, one of the seniors began choking and could not breathe. A gentleman jumped in and gave her the Heimlich maneuver and was able to dislodge and get her breathing back. So who knows what would have happened if he did not jump in. So we'd like to recognize him for his efforts.
And the name?
His name is Beck Dodd.
Thank you.
Okay, and number 11 is a resolution to accept grant monies from both CDPHP and Trinity Health. We have two checks. The CDPHP is 9,000 plus, and that's for both exercise and the senior lunch program. And Trinity Health is for exercise program. So these the exercise programs will allow the seniors to participate at zero cost.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does
for
anybody have
going
any
after
questions?
that. That's
Nope.
wonderful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Linda, as well.
Oh, definitely.
Number 12 is a tentative resolution to hire a cleaner at Town Hall. Charlie Bergami's been doing walkthroughs with private companies, and also we've looking at the option of a town employee doing this work here. So Charlie's been did quite a few and has some recommendations. Me and Beth will interview Charlie's recommendations and hopefully have a name for the board for this month's resolution. Number 13. So all of these are related to the budget process, what we asked for equipment. We're moving forward because of the timeline in which it takes us to get this equipment. So Ken Williams has been doing all the contracts, researching contracts, best value, and whatever we can piggyback on for all these items. 13 is a resolution authorize the purchase of a 2025 Freightliner Packer truck. This is used in our yard waste operations. Number 14 is a resolution authorize the purchase of a stand-on blower for use in the Parks Department. This will be utilized on the bike path, parking lots, stuff like that, to be able to do a large area more efficiently. Number 15 is a resolution authorize the purchase of a stand-on mower with a bagger for use in the Parks Department. This is just one of our upgrades for a standard unit that we use currently. Number 16 is a resolution authorize the purchase of a zero-turn mower with a bagger for use in the Parks Department. Again, an upgrade from our standard equipment. Number 17 is a resolution authorize the purchase of a 2024 one-ton dump truck with plow and sander for use in the Parks Department. This is to use in our winter operations for parking lots, facilities, and such like this. This is replacing a 06 or 07 dump truck who's had a hard life. Number 18, a resolution authorized the purchase of a chipper for use in the Highway Department. This will replace our current chipper that is used daily on our bucket truck. Number 19 is a resolution authorized the purchase of a Bobcat track loader with attachments for use in the Highway Department. This will replace an older unit that we use for our road milling and various projects around the town, drainage projects. It's a very well-used piece of equipment. Number 20 is a resolution authorized the purchase of 2 Chevy 3500 Mason dump trucks or rack trucks for the use in the Highway Department. These are to replace 2000 Chevys that have had a long life at our Highway Department, and they were used when we got them. 21, a resolution authorized the purchase of 2 NVP snowplows for use in the Highway Department. So what we did last year was we purchased 2 dump trucks that we have yet to get yet, and we cut the cost of them last year and bought the snowplows in this year's budget. So this is the same vendor that is supplying the vehicles to us. We got a cheaper price on the plows, 2 quotes for these. So these trucks can now come complete to us instead of sending them back out to be upfitted. 22, a resolution authorized the purchase of a pickup truck with a plow for use in the Highway Department. Standard replacement of older vehicle, 2012 pickup with over 100,000 miles on it. 23 is a resolution authorized the purchase of a rotary wheel balancer for use in the Highway Department. The current balancer that we have is we've tried to calibrate it multiple times. It's not up to working standards, so this is a replacement for that. Any questions on anything?
All of these items were budgeted for.
Yes, they were all in this year's budget. And
Can I
replacement
steal your question?
That's okay. That's
and
okay.
replacements and the things that when they come in, the items that they're replacing will be auctioned off. Okay, thank you.
Thanks. All right, moving on to Economic Development, Historic Preservation, and Environmental Conservation Committee.
Sorry. My numbers don't seem to line up, but my first resolution is a resolution to amend the 2024 town designated engineering rates due to a company name change. We use Prime Engineering fairly regularly for our town designated engineering service. They recently informed us that they may be submitting proposals under a different company name, same people. I haven't gotten the rate sheet yet, so if that'll be ready, I'll put it on in the end of February, and if it doesn't need to be, then I'll pull it. Not a big deal, just a name change. The next resolution I have is a ceremonial resolution to recognize the service of former town historian Dennis Brennan. I know you guys talked about it at the town board meeting. We also talked about it at the Economic Development Committee meeting. Dennis, I agree with everything that Marie said. He's really great to work with, and I'm excited to help put together a resolution in recognition of him at the next town board meeting. So we're working on that. Number 19 is a resolution to award a contract for consulting services to the Comprehensive Plan Committee. That RFP went out maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. We had a pre-meeting with people who wanted to submit for a comprehensive plan help and had 4 attendees. I've already received 1 proposal, so I'm hopeful that we'll get more. But I think we will have a name ready for the end of the February, and I'm very excited about that. That was put in the budget last year to help us get the comprehensive plan closed out by the end of the year. It is now officially our 2025 comprehensive plan. The next resolution I have is a resolution to appoint a chair for the Historic Preservation Committee. Our new town historian is an absolutely lovely human being. I enjoy working with her every day. I have been talking to her a lot. We reviewed all the different historic committee preservation, everything that we've done over the last amount of time. And we also reached out to everybody who's on the Historic Preservation Committee to see if anybody else wanted to be chair. Nobody volunteered. So we are proposing to put Rita as the chair for the Historic Preservation Committee. In this work, we also kind of identified that both committees are low on humans. And it's a similar situation, I think, when I had the Climate Smart Community Task Force, and I needed to combine them with the Conservation Advisory Council. We're still working on it, and we're double checking and contacting people, but we may end up combining the Historic Committee with the Historic Preservation Committee for the best use of our volunteer time and our town time. So I'll let you guys know ahead of time, but if that's the best course of action, then we'd probably put that all in one resolution for the Historic Preservation Committee at the end of the month. My next one is a tentative resolution to accept land from the owner of 2890 River Road. Planning Board has been working on a subdivision probably for a while that is on the end of Seneca Road and River Road. There are a lot of drainage issues that come from a variety of sources in that area through Iroquois Middle School down to Seneca. It was a very difficult subdivision, and one of the things that the planning board recommended was that the town accept lands as part of that subdivision, so that in the future, if we need to do drainage work in that area, we are able to own the land, which will help us remediate any future problems. The other thing that they're offering us as part of the subdivision, which I highly, highly recommend we accept both, is a pre-existing beautiful trail between the end of Seneca Road and River Road Park. It is a fantastic way to take two cul-de-sacs that have no connectivity and connect them to River Road Park so that people don't have to walk out to River Road and walk down that shoulder to get to the park. It's well used. Leslie can speak to it. I think we got like maybe 20, 25 letters asking that path remain. So those two things will come to the town board. I think it'll depend on whether or not their lawyers will have them prepared in time. But if they are prepared in time, I highly recommend that we take them. Otherwise, it'll roll into March. But for sure, it'll be on for March. And then I have two things that I wanted to add from the floor. Second subdivision the planning board completed recently was the Polsinelli subdivision off of Morrow Road. And that subdivision required a maintenance agreement for the stormwater management practices and an easement. The maintenance agreement says that they're going to maintain the stormwater practices privately, in perpetuity. And the easement says that if for some reason they don't, it gives the town the ability to go in and do the work and charge it to the homeowner. So that's going to be a fairly standard thing that we do going forward. If the town is not going to own the stormwater management practices, we are going to take maintenance agreements and easements to ensure that the stormwater is being accounted for in perpetuity.
What can I?
Oh,
stop
sure.
and ask
Yeah,
a
go ahead.
question about that? How will the town determine when it's time to manage the stormwater?
Well,
What sort of issues would trigger the town then being responsible for the work? Is that going to be laid out?
I mean, yeah, so the maintenance agreement is taken directly from the Stormwater Management Pollution Prevention Plan. And they outline what the stormwater practice is, how it has to be maintained, and what the annual maintenance is for it. It's on private land. So, I mean, if there were complaints from the neighbors that there was more stormwater than usual or something, we could go look and see what was happening with the stormwater management pond. And then the typical thing there would be that we would reach out to the owner and say, hey, this is the maintenance that needs to happen. Please do it in a certain amount of time. Most homeowners were like, yep, no problem. I've got it. If they don't do that, and then we give them a notice and order and they still don't do it, then the town would go in and then charge them for it. doesn't usually happen, but we have to have that built
Abs-
in because stormwater is such a big issue in the town of Niskuna, and it's also part of us signing off on the DEC approvals for them to build these stormwater management issues. We have to have a way to be able to control them in the future.
Is there some way for this process to be inclusive of Ray and Matt?
Yeah, I mean, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
that
a
was
subdivision.
One of my questions,
question.
yeah,
Okay.
about the River Road
Mhm.
and the land that the developer wants to then deed over to the town.
Yes.
Have you looked at that? You have.
They actually took our recommendations and we got so that we could access any work that was determined to be, had to be done by the drainage study that's going to be conducted.
So Ray and Matt wrote us a formal memo on that one, which was helpful when the planning board was reviewing the subdivision to make sure that the land was actually deeded to us.
Right, we just want to make sure that you're comfortable with it, Matt, because as you know, in the past, sometimes we've taken these lands and then it's up to us to maintain them, correct?
So we have talked about this. I mean, we're just taking natural land. It does currently have a sewer easement. There's no plans to do anything without a formal study that would figure out what is the best thing to do. It's quite possible that the town takes this land, does a study, and this land isn't the pinch point of all the water, and so we end up focusing our efforts somewhere else. But this land, it's important for conservation. It's a wetland. It shouldn't be developed in the future anyway, and it does give us the flexibility that if our study shows, maybe it's good to, channel it out a little bit. It's all going to be data driven and it's not going to be homeowners or, even necessarily town employees saying, I think this is the best thing to do. Like it needs a full engineering study of the watershed to decide, where's the best place to actually catch that water. And then this gives us an option though, if it is one of the areas that can be helped, that we'll have the ability to do so.
Just to clarify, that was with regards to 2890 River Road.
Mhm.
Just want to make sure everyone.
Yeah, it's two
Mhm.
stormwater things and they're entirely different.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about the Polsinelli subdivision?
Yeah,
that you were
okay, so
saying?
back to the second
Okay,
one.
back to the first. You said that if the neighbors find there's extra stormwater, they would alert the town.
Typically, yes.
So would that look like the neighbors already had like flooding in their home? How would they know that there's extra stormwater? What would be the?
Yeah, I mean, we hear this fairly regularly, and sometimes, honestly, it's just bad storms. And we'll go out there and be like, yep, we've had like 6 inches of rain these last 2 weeks, and you do have more water on your property. But sometimes it is something like sometimes the culvert's blocked, or sometimes we could go out there and see there's a lot of sedimentation in one of the basins or something like that. So it just alerts us to go out and look and see what we can see.
But there's not always a problem before you go. Like, is it like the?
So, I mean, if you're asking if we're going to regularly maintain and inspect private stormwater
Right.
infrastructure as part of subdivision, we are not. It's really like generally speaking, just the way that our department is complaint driven. We do not have the staff or the ability to be regularly inspecting private stormwater infrastructure. But if we do have the ability to go in with an easement in perpetuity, if something's really going wrong and the property owner isn't working us, which is very rare, we can go in there, even if it's stormy or whatever, and fix it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I believe you have one more.
Yeah, I
to
have
add.
one more. This
Okay.
is my favorite.
Okay.
So I would like to ask if I could do a presentation to the town board at the February 27th meeting. The Conservation Advisory Council started the second phase of the natural resources inventory, a little bit similar to your logo committee presentation that just happened. They would really like to update you on, we'll actually have the contractor update you on what the next steps are for the natural resource inventory, like what we're expecting to do and what we're expecting to find. He did the presentation at the CAC meeting. It was fantastic, and I would love for you guys to see it. It's very short. He's from Connecticut, so it'll be online, and he has some super cool slides that he can show, and it's awesome. So I, would love to share it with you.
As long as you promise that there are super cool slides and they are awesome. Okay.
Well, it's about natural resources inventory and conservation of land, so
I'm,
it will be awesome.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
No? Okay, thanks,
Okay,
guys.
Thanks. Thank you. All right. Moving on to police and public safety.
Good evening, everyone. Number 23 is a resolution to authorize the DCGS Law Enforcement Agency Accreditation Program application. We're finally at a point where all of our policies are issued. This will formalize with a signature from myself and the supervisor as required by the application that we are committed to opening the window to work with DCGS to seek final approval through the accreditation process. It's a big step for our agency. We're still not there yet in terms of getting accredited, but this is the formal agreement to now engage formally, bring them our policies, have them review things, seek out opportunities for them to come inspect us on sort of a semi-formal level, if possible, to make sure that we are in fact checking all of those boxes to then seek full accreditation where they would come do an on-visit premise visit and challenge us for 3 days to get full accreditation. So I'm very pleased to say we're at this point. We still have some more work to do, but this is going to formalize and open that window for us. And again, just to remind everybody, this was one of the major recommendations coming out of the Police Implementation Task Force and the Police Reform Initiatives. So it's going to be a great thing for our agency to do this.
And you have been building up to this for the past 2 years.
2 years.
So it's incredible.
2 years. It is. We're finally there. We got more to go, but we're finally there. So
Yep.
that's good. Number 24 is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of New York State Stop DWI grant monies. This is through the county. We do this annually. This year we were awarded $13,250. This puts out extra directed overtime details specific to stopping DWI and impaired driving. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is the resolution to accept the Discovery Reform grant monies that we spoke about in the Finance and General Government Committee meeting. And that's all I have. Anybody have anything? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and then moving on to the Finance and General Government Committee.
Okay, we have the resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign the engagement letter for the annual audit, the resolution to update the prices for the memorial benches, a resolution to approve the annual updates to the employee handbook, a resolution to approve budgetary modifications, and the last is the tentative resolution to hire outside counsel to assist the town attorney with the planning board meetings and matters where she needs additional coverage. And that is all I have.
Do we need to add the tentative resolution for the creation of the committee?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It was,
Plus. Okay. And what was a process? I didn't know exactly what the name of that committee was.
I'll work to come up with something.
Okay, sorry. The figuring it out committee.
I'm holding you to that one, figuring it out. Okay. All right, at this time, that's all we have for our agenda meeting. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we stand adjourned. Have a good evening.